Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Paul, and I am a psychic, intuitive, but also a person who studies life. And I wanted to take the opportunity today. Sorry, I do walk around. It's part of my process. I hope it isn't too disturbing. What's more important is, I think, the message. And today I'd like to talk about feeling at odds with the world. Let me elaborate. I'll just use this metaphor. Do you ever feel like a unicorn? Unique, special, somebody very rare? Do you ever feel like you're out of step with others around you? Do you feel like you can't relate to people? Do you feel like other people are constantly trying to make you adapt and conform to their standards? That's what I'm talking about. Some of us, not all of us, and if you don't think you're a unicorn, that's okay. I think this message can resonate for you because I think it's a really good thing to think about for all of us. Some of us sometimes possess certain talents, traits, things that really set us apart from others. Everybody has their unique, wonderful qualities and our negative qualities too. Let's take ourselves as a whole person. And, there's a lot of us who want to fit in, we want to have relationships, but there's a lot of us who feel really stifled in the world because we don't walk to the same beat as everyone else. And I can use examples of myself, and please understand, I am not bragging about who I am. I am being honest and very authentic. I have a very high IQ. Does that make me special? No, but it does make me unique. And when you're unique, that brings some challenges. For me, relating to other people, sometimes it's very difficult. I have a tendency to want to speak in a very elaborate and detailed way about subjects that can sometimes really overwhelm my listeners. It's a problem, but on the other hand, I'm a person who really embraces authenticity. And for good or bad, I don't really want to adapt my communication style to other people. That would represent a lack of authenticity for me. So in that respect, I sometimes can really find myself at odds with people. I don't think it's that people think ill of me. I just lose them. And that's cool. Everybody has their own intellectual perspective, pursuit, understanding, but we can't always be like other people. And, you have to embrace, I'm not telling you what to do, but I believe one should always embrace themselves. The Stoics, if you're familiar, it's a form of philosophy, believe that one should always be authentic and that one should realize what you have control over and what you don't have control over. And when you realize that, then you can focus on that which you have control over, which is yourself, your authenticity, and your pursuits. So, bearing that in mind, I think it's a really good lesson in that. You should be yourself always. If you don't resonate with others, there are, believe it or not, no matter how isolated you feel, there are others who have your perspectives. I think if connection is important to you, that you should reach out and find those people. Where can you find those people? Well, it depends on what your interests are. Look for groups that support the particular thing that you're passionate about. Books, art, science, math, stoicism. There is a Stoic society. Those are just some examples. Get on the internet. It's a wonderful resource. I know everybody complains about the internet being this horrible place of misinformation, but there's a lot of resources available on the internet. It's really how you use it. If you use it in a noble way, it will give you noble answers. It's just my personal opinion. But do be careful. There is misinformation always. Always be informed. That's the key. Understand the parameters of your life and the situations that you find yourself in. And when you do feel isolated, there's a lot of techniques. For one, being mindful. Don't put yourself down because you feel isolated. Doesn't mean you're bad, okay? There's nothing wrong with you because you're a unicorn, okay? You gotta embrace who you are, your virtues, and your shortcomings. That's part of being introspective. It's the path to emotional intelligence and being an adult. And unfortunately, if you are a very adult-minded person who has worked intensely on yourself, that really contributes a lot to feelings of isolation from others. But I'm telling you, there is hope. You don't have to be isolated. Reach out to like-minded people. Find people who understand you. There are situations and places and groups where your unique perspective will be completely celebrated. For example, I tend to go into too much detail. It really blows people away. But there are groups where they love that. I guess it's a nerdier way of being. And a lot of people don't like nerds. I personally don't get that perspective because I love nerds. As quirky, weird, and maybe potentially spectrum-y, to make up a word, as they are, they delight me. To see people be so passionate about something and to be so intricate and so engaged, I mean, it's amazing to me. Anyway, I digress a bit. The point is, you're not alone. You've never been alone. Feeling alone is normal. It doesn't mean you're abnormal. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It's just an aspect of the human existence. And you got to walk your path, whatever that path is. If you're walking your path, it will make sense to you. Life will make sense to you. And your connections with others, if you choose to engage, I think will be better for it. But on the other hand, you do not have to put up with unacceptable behavior. And if people don't fulfill you, then you need to learn the number one rule of life. There's two things you can do in life. Walk towards something, walk away from something. I didn't mean to flip anybody off there. So those are your two choices. Walk towards something, walk away from something. Walking away from things is very difficult. That's very much an adult pursuit or adult perspective. And if you have learned to walk away, then congratulations. It's a really hard thing for a lot of people to do. We want to just keep trying and trying and trying. But you know what? The definition of insanity, and I'm sure you've heard this from AA, is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So, reach out to like-minded people. Be mindful of the thoughts that you're having about yourself. This has a lot to do with self-esteem. Don't let others pull you onto a path of collectiveness that you don't resonate with, okay? Your only job is to walk your own path. That's why you're here. The Stoics say you should be introspective, realize what you have control over, and be compassionate to others. And just because somebody doesn't resonate with you doesn't mean they're a bad person, okay? We're not here to judge. But just walk away. Walk away from those people. You don't owe anybody anything. The only person you owe something to is yourself. And that might sound very selfish because we're always told, particularly by Christian Judeo ethics, that you have to be codependent and you have to be here for people and you have to do all these things for people. You don't. The only time you have to do anything for anybody is if you make an agreement with them. And there's all sorts of agreements. So be mindful of the social agreements that you make with people. Don't put yourself in a position where you have to do something that really is against your free will, okay? You have free will. People like our current president, and I'm sure this will turn off a lot of people, think that you don't have any free will, and they do everything in their power, excuse me, to make you think that you don't have power and control, but you do. What you choose to align yourself with is who you are. So align yourself with yourself. Be in it for the goodness of the nurturing of your spirit. And, you can also seek out quotes that are very supportive, like Ralph Waldo Emerson, who said, if you find yourself walking your own path, and I'm paraphrasing here, he didn't actually say it this way, I'm just speaking to the meaning of what he said. If you find yourself walking your own path alone, then in your own way, then you're an incredibly rare person. It's difficult to walk your path and not let others draw you off of it. But I encourage you to do your thing. Be yourself. Don't worry about what other people think. You're not here to make a popularity contest. That didn't make sense. You're not here to be the popular person. You're here to do whatever work it is that you commit yourself to. I don't want to get too religious here, but I do believe we all have a purpose. At the very minimum is to learn from our experiences. And if you can just embody some of that, you're actually going to be a lot happier. Sorry about walking around. I just cannot talk without moving. I guess it's my ADHD. So I hope that resonated with you all. And certainly I'm open and available to any questions you might have about that particular subject. I've tried to be brief. I can be quite verbal about these things. Usually I run into 30, 40 minutes, but I've kept it short today. Hopefully that resonated with you. If you would like more resources or techniques, please reach out. I'm more than happy to give you my perspective on these things. And good luck with your path. You're worth it. Don't ever forget that. You're completely worth your efforts to make your life what works for you. And don't be afraid to walk away. It's a hard lesson, but it's a good one to learn. Anyway, have a good day. Thank you.